Good evening and welcome to Arnie's Pizza in Rensselaer, right across from St. Joseph's College. It's Wednesday night. That means it's the Coach's Kage show. We're going to wrap up some of the girls' seasons tonight and also continue talking with our boys' season. And they wind down for the last couple of weeks. And stepping in as a leadoff man, Ryan Harrington from the Tri-County Cavaliers boys team. Ryan, good to see you. How you doing?
Great.
We got 3 games to talk about.
Games.
You were busy and some big-time competition over the weekend, and then you had a game last night, so take it away.
Yeah, so we got things started on Friday night against Benton Central. We ended up, that was kind of our senior night, just wanted to send the guys out with a big Friday night game. We knew Saturday's game was going to be an afternoon game, and then last night being a Tuesday night, we just, again, wanted to get them that Friday night last experience. So it was great getting to recognize our 4 seniors this year, and played a really tough team in Benton Central and came out and they kind of got a lead early on and were able to hold on pretty consistently throughout the game. We ended up losing 65-44, but again, against a team like that, there's just they got a lot of size. They got the assistant kid who's 6'6". He can shoot threes. He's really strong. He's physical. He'll seal you on the high side if you're not careful. So he was a handful, having to go against him. He scored 15 against us. So, he's tough. And then they, coming off their bench, they got a lefty, really athletic kid, the Winchester kid. He scored 13. So, again, they just had really well-rounded scorers that are tough to guard. But we found some moments where we were able to get some really good looks against them, and that was the biggest thing, is wanting to build off of playing against that big size, really talented team and seeing what we can do. And Grayson Schneider especially, he came off the bench. He was 2 for 2 from 3. He scored 11 points, led us in scoring, so that was really exciting. And then Connor Ross had a really big night with 9 points, 6 rebounds, and he took 2 charges as well.
I was going to say, when we talk about Connor, we got to talk about
charges. Yeah, so he took 2 in that game. So, again, not too shocking just as far as that's what he does. And then, obviously Kobe Baylor was getting in the scoring column. He had 9, and Noah Dallenberg off the bench also had 9. So, again, Grayson and Noah coming off the bench, they did a great job of scoring for us. And, we really needed that. Again, obviously they're going against some pretty good competition on the inside. But, like I said, we fell in that game. And then going to Saturday afternoon, we played West Lafayette, and it was a 2:30 tip-off in the afternoon Eastern time, so a little bit different for us. And obviously we moved that up because they, right there just off of West Lafayette's school's campus there, Purdue was playing IU, so they wanted to move that game up, so we moved it up. Tough first quarter, real back and forth. It was 18-14. They had the lead. Connor Ross took a couple of charges just in that first quarter. He ended up with 3 total against West Lafayette. So, again, got to mention the charges with Connor. He got 5 total just on Friday and Saturday. Not quite as good as the 5 he had in the previous game, but still pretty impressive. And again, they had a really good guy on the inside that really challenged us. He's a 6'10" kid, the St. Hilaire kid.
6'10"?
6'10", and obviously that's a challenge. We held him to 12 points, and again, that's one of those things. He was so tall, if he caught it on the inside, it was already over. So basically, we had to front him, pressure their guards, and hope they threw a bad pass. And we got quite a few good tips. We got a few steals off of it, but they were able to also hit some threes and just do some things to pull away. Exact same scores Friday night, 65-44 in the end. So, again, after that first quarter, they were kind of able to do whatever they wanted. They had a 13-point lead there at the half, and, again, just extend that a little bit in the second half. But Kobe Baylor led us in scoring with 14, and Riley Hughes had 8. But, again, coming off the bench, I mentioned Grayson and Noah on Friday night. Same thing there Saturday. Grayson had 9 and Noah had 6. So those guys were coming up really big for us coming off the bench.
Are you okay playing bigger schools like that? A couple 3A teams?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's we plan that out that way. The one thing I'd say is it'd be nice if they were a little more spaced out. We've had this really long stretch of playing 1A schools. It would have been nice to maybe, mix a Benton Central in there and then play a couple more 1A schools, then play your West Lafayette. But
is that something that maybe could change in the future
maybe,
or not?
But at the same time, it was kind of nice as far as coming off of Benton Central. I felt like in that first quarter against West Lafayette, we really came out ready to go because we had just kind of gone against a similar similar physical
Right.
type of team and all
Right.
that stuff. But obviously, in the long run, it just kind of caught up with us. So that's one of the things we just wanted to challenge the kids here heading to the end of the year, going into a sectional. If we're able to get things taken care of in that sectional, we've already seen it last year. The regional level competition changes depending on what the draw ends up being, and sometimes you go against schools that have guys like that. When we played Marquette, they had a kid who was 6'6" and really strong and physical last year. Now he had graduated, so if we play them again, it'll be different. But still, just knowing that that's the type of competition you're going to have to see as you move through the tournament, we just kind of want to prepare for that here at the end of the season.
And you played last night.
We played last night. This was a makeup game. So Tri-Township, we were supposed to play them earlier in the year. But
In case people don't know, it used to be lacrosse, right?
So it used to be lacrosse, yes. So they recently, I think last year was the first year they were known as Tri-Township. So they just recently changed. And, again, they came over. We were able to beat them 67-36. So kind of we were able to take care of business. There in that second half, we got into that running clock situation too. So, it kind of makes things go pretty quick there in that second half once you get to the running clock. But really well-rounded scoring from everybody. Eric Zarzi had 12 points. He hit 3 threes. That was really nice to see him get going. Kobe Baylor just really went off. He had 23 points. So he had a lot of layups too. That was the thing. I told him I was really impressed with how much he scored, and he's just like, I was just getting layups. And I told him, well, that's because you're working hard to get in great position to get layups. So
there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. And, not just him cutting hard, but it was a lot of credit to his teammates of getting him to the spot. There was a lot of good passes where we led him to the open spot, and it was really easy for him to turn and finish. So, again, you can say it's an easy layup, but nothing's easy in a basketball game. There's a lot of work that goes into making things look easy. So a lot of credit to all the kids getting there. And Connor Ross had 6 points, and believe it or not, his streak was broken. He didn't take a charge.
Oh, no.
So it's crazy. But he is still, obviously, we got several games left. He's taken 22 charges on the season, so he's really racked him up.
That's kind of lost art anymore, isn't it?
It is. I think he's, as far as teams I've seen this year, he's as good as anybody. But, again, that's just how he is. He's a tough-nosed player. He's that way in practice. He dives after every loose ball, even in practice. So that's just kind of the type of kid he is. I can't say I can take any credit as his coach for that. He's just always been that way.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't teach that type of mentality. He's got it. And he's a great example for some young kids just because, he makes mistakes plenty of times, but he makes up for them every single time because he does those little things. He hustles. He's willing to dive on the floor. He's willing to, step in front of somebody, take a hit to the chest, fall down, take a hit to the middle of the back. And a lot of guys, they'd rather step out of the way and not do that. So real credit to him. But, just to round things off from last night, coming off the bench, again, Grayson Schneider had 6 points. Noah Dallenberg had 5. And at one point last night in that first quarter, Grayson Schneider had a pretty incredible block where, he hit it really hard off the backboard, got it real clean, and it didn't even hit the ground until the free throw line. So it was pretty impressive in person. And, again, just our defense in that first half, we held them to 11 points. So, obviously in that second half they were able to get up to 36, but I thought our defense in that first half especially was really impressive last night.
Not many games left in the regular season. Tell us about them.
Yeah, so Friday, we've talked about it a couple of times. It's a big one for us. It's that Faith Christian game. We got to go down there and play, and they only have one loss in the conference. We only have one loss in the conference, so kind of decides our fate to some degree. And if we're able to get a win there, we should get a share of the conference, and that's a real big deal for us just as far as building off of things everywhere. That was a goal of ours last year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get it done, losing 2 games. And so this year coming back, it's something we've talked about since the season started. We got a chance to do that Friday. But it's going to take our best effort. Faith Christian's a really good team.
And it could be a 3-way tie, right? Or no?
I don't believe so. I guess in theory, if Faith lost another game, but I guess you would think that they could take care of business too throughout. But yeah, it is possible. You are correct. It's one of those things though. Then we're relying on teams to upset teams or beat them, and that's just it's one thing that I'm sure all these coaches would say. You got to control the things you can control.
Right.
So that's what we got to win. That's end of the day. We got to win. We got to take care of business because if we do that, then everything's taken care of. And after that, it's really just again preparing for the sectional. The draw's Sunday, so that's a big thing. And we got a really tough opponent Saturday. Clinton Prairie is extremely good. Friday opponent's really good. Saturday opponent's extremely good. I don't know what their record is. Last I saw, they only had 2 losses on the year, though. So I know they're really good. Coach Peckinpah's, every single year he's been there, they've been really successful. They're going to play that extended 3-2. They're going to really put pressure on us. They've got a McGraw kid on the inside who can really score it. And then, he scored over 40 on us last season. So that's a guy we've kind of had in the back of our head all year long that, okay, when we see him again, we got to try to do things differently to limit his scoring opportunities. And then the very last thing is that week before sectional on Friday, we travel over to Pioneer to play them. So kind of an old sectional, old Midwest Conference opponent, but that's just kind of always been in that spot. And it's one of those games that back when they were in our sectional, you always hated playing just because there was a good chance you were going to see them the week right after. But it's kind of worked out here the last couple of years since they've been moved out of our sectional.
Clinton Prairie 16-2.
Yeah. So there you go, 16-2. Like I said, they're going to be a really tough opponent. We got to go to their place.
They haven't lost this year.
Yeah.
The last loss was December 29th.
Their gym is one of those environments that is really tough to play in. They kind of have a lower ceiling. It's dark in there, but they also just always have a really big crowd, and it's a really loud crowd. So that's just always been a tough place to play. That's one of those gyms. Even when I played, I remember going to and just being like, this is a tough place to get a win.
Before I let you go, tell us about the JV Cavs. How are they doing?
They're doing good. So, again, they've been coming away with some wins. They, as far as their weekend, they were able to beat Benton Central. They got a really nice win against the Benton Central JV team. And then, tough loss the following day against West Lafayette. It was actually a pretty close game, but just West Lafayette was able to hit a couple more threes on us than we were. And, then they got another nice win last night against Tri-Township. So they've really had a successful season, obviously. I said it several times. Coach Cook has done an incredible job with them and really has them starting to play exactly how we want them to here at the end of the season.
Ryan, thanks for coming over. Good luck this week, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Thank you very much.
Ryan Harrington from the Tri-County Cavaliers, back with more. The Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com right after this.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
At Applegate Seed House, we specialize in any and all small seed project needs. This includes government programs, CRP, pollinators and waterways, pasture mixes, and new lawn seed. Applegate Seed House is located 2 miles north of Brook, Indiana, and 2.5 miles east of Highway 41. Call Sam at 765-363-3113. That's Sam at Applegate Seed House, 765-363-3113.
Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Joe Goodeman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodeman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
All right, we're flipping the season now back to the girls' season to wrap up with Rensselaer Central coach Wes Radke. Wes, thanks for coming in and to recap the season. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right, okay. Let's talk about sectional. Give us your thoughts on that first.
Well, just to not to really open up old wounds, but again, we seemed like we could never really get into a flow. Never really could seem to find any kind of momentum whatsoever. Anything that we did seem to find, there seemed to be a whistle always with it. And when we started to go in the right direction, and early on, the game is I believe at the end of the first quarter it was like 7-6 or somewhere around there, and we go start the second quarter, and Taylor and Cadence both have 2 fouls, so they have to sit the whole second quarter, and we kept the game at halftime. We were down 4. We were 16-20. We're down 4. It's just a back and forth fight the entire time, and still felt pretty good with 2 starters on the bench. We're down only 4 points going into halftime. So, I'm thinking, okay, great. We can roll with this. We can go in the third quarter. We got all the jitterbugs, whatever you want to call, all the nervousness out, butterflies, all that's over and done with. We'll get back into it, and we come out that third quarter, and again, both teams just going back and forth and playing hard against each other, and every time we would start to get that momentum going in the one direction, it's 3 steps back. They're at the free throw line, and we're not. And
we got to tell people you played West Lafayette, right?
Yeah, we played West Lafayette.
Okay.
So, who we had beaten 2 times before, and both of them were dog fights. Both of them were just great battles back and forth. And we knew going into this game was going to be the same way. So, halftime we come back out, and we just, again, we're getting the looks, we're getting the things we want. It's just not going our way. Good, bad, and different. Everything that could go wrong went wrong at times. We had people still getting in foul trouble. We threw the ball away a few times, but we kind of settled down there, and we finally. I told him. I thought to myself, if we just get the lead here, it will be okay. It will be all right. So we ended up getting the lead 38-37. We finally got the lead back, and I'm thinking, okay, things are going well. And we fought back. We got through. We got their best punches, and things are going to be okay. And we just there was a couple calls here or there, some miscues, and the ball gets knocked away, and they go down and shoot a layup, and then it just seems like it just kept going back and forth. And again, we just never really seemed to find our rhythm like we have in the past and in other games, and just never was able to overcome what West Lafayette was doing and what the pressure was that they were giving us. I mean, they were pressuring us all over the floor. They were really doing some things that we anticipated them doing and knew they had to do it in order to be able to handle what we were going to do offensively. And so, again, it's just a game that we never felt that we could ever get going in the right direction, and we ended up losing, I think, 37-44. We had to start fouling a little bit, so that game was really a lot closer than what it ended up. If that was, I don't even remember the score to be exact, just simply because it's still very tough when you see a season like we've had, and you go over 22 wins on a regular season, and you see all the hard work and dedication these girls put into the season, and to see it, to have it just slip through our fingers was just very difficult and very hard. But again, we ended up losing 37-44.
And it seems to me like sectional play, scoring is a lot harder to come by, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's do or die situation,
Yeah.
and things get a little tougher. Officiating changes sometimes. You go from getting the play, then it being really closely called, or it's somewhere in between. So, and it just, again, it's that do or die situation where if you don't get it done, you're done, and everybody's they're supposed to be playing their best basketball at that point in time.
Right.
And that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it great. You look at that sectional we were in, and you play that over, it could be somebody totally different.
Probably would be.
And you play it again, it could be somebody else that's different again. I mean, it was just a loaded, very tough, well-played sectional that unfortunately we just didn't come out and get it done.
Well, we'll talk about this later, but you want to play those teams anymore in the sectional.
Right. Yeah, we won't
Cool.
we won't face them anymore simply because of the reclassification that's going to take
We'll
place.
talk about reclassification later, but let's recap the whole year. What a spectacular year for the Bombers, a record-setting year. Give us your thoughts on that.
Well, coming into the season, we knew that things could be special for the program. Since I've been there, we were on the brink of getting over 100 wins in a season since the 8 years I've been there. So that's how we started the season off with getting that accomplished, and the girls really took that initiative. And then, they just went on a run. They went on a 20-game winning streak there, just going through things, and they never.
Did you think you could go undefeated when you got up to 18, 19
I
wins?
thought, yeah, I really did. I thought the girls could do it. I really felt that they could be undefeated, and I was looking forward to that. I mean, why not?
Sure.
Why would you
Doesn't
not?
happen that often.
No, and you never know. Tomorrow I may not be here, so who knows what might happen. And to be able to say you run an undefeated team that did some fantastic things for our community and the school system, why not? And some people say, well, maybe it's good to get the one loss out of the way, and I get that, but I hate losing.
Right.
And I'd rather go undefeated, and I'd rather these girls go undefeated and experience that experience, but it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't there, and we did end up losing that Hoosier Conference Championship game to a very good Hamilton Heights team. But I think if we play them again, it could be a different outcome. I just feel like there's a lot of things that that could go in our way, and being 22-1 in the regular season, 22-2 for the entire season, is nothing for us to hang our heads about. I mean,
Gotta be proud.
Yeah, broke school records. There's a whole lot of coaches and teams in the state that would love to have that record, and
that may stand for a while. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know what. I mean, records are made to be broken. So that's the great thing about the entire process is these girls had a mindset and a goal to set before them, and that's what they wanted to accomplish. Their one goal that you heard me talk about a lot was the whole team's under 35 points in a game. We're talking high school basketball, varsity basketball, and that was their goal. We ended up, after it was all said and done, holding teams to 36. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take that any day of the week, hold teams under 36, and that's including playing BC. That's including playing West Lafayette. That's including playing,
Munster
and West Lafayette and KV and these teams that put up a lot of points. For us to be able to hold them under that 35 or close threshold is quite an accomplishment to what these girls are able to do. And then we wanted to average 70. We only got up to 62, and I think that's something.
Still pretty good.
That's still. I mean, when you look at your span and what you have there, you still have a lot that these girls accomplished. They set some goals that they wanted to reach, and they reached them. The miraculous thing about this is I don't think many of them thought much about that IU Hoops Classic game, that we were going to win that tournament. And that really, for me, really was one of those, not that I haven't had a lot of proud moments, but as a head coach in a program that I've dedicated everything to, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of times on the roads, a lot of trying to figure things out to help these girls, for them to win that and to experience that was, as a goal, what was good to be able to see them get that taste. And again, working towards hopefully eventually someday that sectional and having that same feeling is going to be what we're going to work on. But it was definitely something to celebrate, something that they'll always cherish, and something that they'll always keep in mind, that everybody else didn't give us a chance to win that. Nobody else thought it was going to be possible.
Right.
When you're playing Harrison right away, Harrison thinks they're going to win against us. Then we turn around and we play BC.
You're underdog every game, probably.
Underdog every game, and we beat them. And then we go into the championship, getting ready to play West Lafayette, and who we've never beat, never had. I mean, we've been close, but and we pull it off. And in games that were very tight, and the girls never budged, never blinked, and that was a fun time, and it was a great experience for us, and it just continued to fuel the girls throughout the rest of the season, and then again, just kept the ball rolling, and I can't express and say how proud I am of every one of these young ladies that are on my team.
All right, before we start talking about next year, we always leave time for you to talk about your seniors, and you had four special ones, I think?
Three. Just three.
I get mixed up. So
yeah, and I honestly don't know if I'll be able to get through talking about these three.
Do the best you can. If you want to move on, we'll move on.
Because I don't think I can do enough justice to what these three have meant to this program over the years. Sarah Kaufman, Cadence Mans, and Bailey Radke, the three of them, I don't think I have enough vocabulary or words to express
what a way to go out on your senior year. Holy cow.
My gratitude to them. And, you couldn't ask for a better, other than winning sectional for them, a better way to finish off your senior year. And, the crazy thing about those three is the three of them played soccer together.
Is that right?
And they have the school record now for most wins in a soccer season, which was this year. And then they bring that same attitude and that same winning attitude to the basketball program.
That matters, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And it's contagious. I don't care what anybody says. It's a contagious thing that they all bought into, and those three did a fantastic job.
Were they vocal leaders, or were they just lead by example?
Most of it was lead by example. I'm not privileged to some of their conversations they have in a locker room. They may be more vocal in the locker room at times than I know. But I really believe that those three have been around me long enough. Obviously, one of them being my daughter, and the other two, like my daughters, they're around me all the time, and they knew what was to be expected. They knew what they needed to get done, and again, they're just phenomenal young ladies. Sarah Kaufman has played for me, varsity letter, all 4 years. Came in as a freshman. Knew there was something special about my number 22, I like to call her, and she really this year elevated her game.
She always seemed to be in the right place at the right time.
She's just a heck of an athlete, just an overall one of the best athletes I've ever coached and had a chance to be around. I think there would have been more times I would like her to score more, but she was doing other things that we needed to have done, and was a very selfless kid. Just wanted her teammates to win, wanted her teammates to do well, and defensively, she was all over the place. She would make plays at times that you didn't think, how could that be? And not real vocal, but very intense, very competitive. Really stepped into her role when she first stepped down the floor for me as a freshman, and all the way through, just continued to get improve. And even this summer, she worked on her shot, and she hit some shots for us in games that normally nobody would think she would shoot. She got the confidence to do that, and her and I had a lot of great conversations about things, and just going to sorely miss number 22 out there. It's going to be some big shoes to fill for somebody to step in and take over next year for what she did. And so looking at next, Cadence Manns, a young lady that every year from her freshman year to this year just improved tremendously.
Might be the most improved on your team this year.
Absolutely. The kid just took it to another level. She wanted it. She wanted to make her teammates better. It was never, what can I do for myself, but what can I do to make these guys better? And she took that persona to, if I can get better, then they're going to be better. And she, in that IU Hoops Classic, for example, that second game against BC, she willed us through that. She played some phenomenal basketball this year and really did some things, hit some deep shots. Like the one shot was Caitlin Clark deep. It was white line, and it was like, where did that come from? But she played with some confidence and played with some determination, and she just improved her game all the way around. And I just absolutely love coaching her. I love being around her. She was always willing to do whatever I asked, and there was times when she'd get a little stubborn, but that was to be expected, and she worked through those things. But again, she's definitely going to be missed. She helped run that point for me, which is never easy. She helped handle things. She was a steady head at times, and I know that sectional game didn't end the way she wanted to. She ended up fouling out and was very tough on her, but I never had to question her heart and desire, so she's definitely going to be missed. And then last but not least, my daughter Bailey. Bailey is you think after the third one, the other two going through this, and then you get Bailey, and I'd be better at this, but you always never want it to end, and unfortunately, Bailey didn't get in on some games that were a little bit tight, but I never heard her make a comment or this or that. She knew what her role was. When I did put her in there, she was able to do what I asked her to do, and she was again stubborn sometimes in practice, being a coach's daughter, and sometimes I'd get on to her. And sometimes you as a coach with your daughters or your son, whoever you're coaching, you expect a little more out of them than everybody else, and I tried to not do that as much, but unfortunately sometimes Bailey got a lot of rough times with Dad on the way home, just being coach and things, but she never backed away, never shied away from the challenge, never stopped. I mean, you're talking about a kid that when she was little, we got her basketball shoes for Christmas, and she cried because she didn't want to play basketball. And she stuck through it every step of the way with me. I'm very proud to be her dad. Very proud of what she accomplished with these girls and with this team. I knew every time that I asked her to make sure that something in the locker room, the girls were together, things were going well. She had a nice shot when she got in there and knocked them down. I mean, just a great kid. I'm very proud of her. All three of them are going to do some great things in their lives. Unfortunately, I think two of them, maybe all three of them, have chosen Purdue. I'm not real sure about what that's all about.
Well, they're smart.
I thought IU was in there, two of theirs at least. And actually, three of them were supposed. All three of them I thought were going to go to IU.
I just told you that. So.
But I love all three of them.
Wes, is it hard coaching your daughter, and is it hard being the daughter with your dad as a coach.
Oh, yes, and I don't care what anybody says. At least me.
Seemed to me like it would
maybe
be.
just me. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's tough. It's a tough situation because the expectations are there. That's a coach's daughter, and everybody assumes and thinks that because it's the coach's daughter, they should be the star and this and that and all.
They
those
live
other
in the
things.
gym.
Yeah,
They're
they
always
live in-
there.
yes.
And it shouldn't
They have
be-
all these. That's their favorite. That's their this, and they're going to play because their daughter. Or they get that, and you can talk to my wife. West Racky doesn't play that game. If Bailey and Brody have time that they've earned, they're going to get that. But because they're my daughter, they're not going to get that special treatment.
Right.
And
anybody knows you would know that.
And I would argue with anybody over that. And sometimes I think, do I be like the other people that do those things? And it's not fair to my daughter. It's not fair to anybody else. The time you get is what you've earned in practice, and what you get is what it is. And I'm very proud of my daughters. Very proud that I was able to coach them, all four of them. Maybe they don't feel the same way. I don't know. Probably depends on the night or the day or what's going on.
Teenagers, that's what you get. That's what you're going to get.
Did we win or lose? And that's going to determine who they ride home with. Do I ride home with Dad, or do I ride home with Grandma and Grandpa? That way I don't have to listen to Dad. So there's a lot there. But I love my daughters. I love Bailey. I love Brody. I love coaching them. It's been a blast. I wouldn't want to do anything else. So those three girls, those three seniors, again, since I've been here, Cadence and Sarah have been at my house. They have been with us. They've played AAU together. We've traveled together, and they're going to be.
It's a big commitment.
Missed. It is, and those three, they've told me that we're not going. I mean, we're going to go away, but we're still around, and they are going to always be a part, and obviously. 22-2 is part of history of Lady Bomber basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They're always going to be. They've set the precedents. They've set the bar for what's going on there in our program. So again, very proud of them, and they've got a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be proud of in their careers. Unfortunately, the one that's always eluded to us all, and Sarah made a notion of it. She's been in 2 sectional championship games. And as a player, and came up short, and that's something that she's wanting some team to accomplish for us here in the future. So those three definitely have set the bar high and have left a legacy for future Lady Bombers to continue to work at.
Let's talk about the future. What do you think for next year?
We're coming back. It's not a rebuilding year. It's not a year of
reloading.
No, it's not a reloading year.
It's a add-on year.
We're coming at you. We've learned.
Got to replace
matured.
2 starters.
Got to replace 2 starters. We got to replace a leader on the bench and that locker room. And I believe we have the girls that are ready to step into those roles. The great thing about these seniors is they helped to mold and mature those girls into those roles that they're ready to do. And we're going to look at continue to build off what we've done this year and not rely on this year's accolades on it, but going to go next year into building off of it and continue to push and improve upon. I mean, we got all of our leading scorers back.
How many seniors will you have next year?
I'll have
if everybody comes back. Of course.
Right, 5, 6.
Oh.
5 or 6 of them.
It's going to be a big year next year.
Yes, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, between there. So, again, and all of our scoring comes back, all of our size, all of our experience, and again with our underclassmen, I still have those sophomores in Brody and Camry and Cammie and Addison still there working at things, and then I still bring back Courtney Matthew and Olivia Kane and Hope Hurley and Krista Johns. And you start bringing in those girls along with what we've been doing here, and with those seniors that we have, and we're really building towards what could be another long run here for us, and excited for what Lady Bomber basketball is going to be next year. And again, having the ability to have Taylor Van Meter back, I'll take it all the time. Having Carly Drone back, absolutely.
Seemed like they've been there for 6 years already.
Yeah, and I did, not to go back, but I did tell Sarah that I was petitioning the state for a 5th year.
Yeah, college can do it.
And that's why I said college can do it. Why can't the state?
Blame
why can't
COVID.
We? And she kind of looked at me funny that day. I said, I'm not joking. I said, I'm going to petition you for a 5th year. But we have a lot coming back, a lot to look forward to. Some changes in our schedule that we're going to finalize here and make sure that they're all done. We've added some teams, and we're going to try to again continue to improve, and we'll move down now to 2A.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
But with everything coming back, I hope that the city of Rensselaer and the community realize that wasn't just a fluke what happened last year. These girls that we have coming back are going to build off of it, and it's going to bring some more excitement. And I hope the gyms are packed like they were. That was a great thing for these ladies to be able to go to a game in and night out that's packed.
Now, we had reclassification, which is total enrollment for each school, right? That's what they – and you went from being a bottom of the
3A.
rung 3A, and now you're in the middle of the pack at 2A. What are your thoughts on that, and how will that change things?
Well, my thoughts on it is going to be, where do they send us? That's going to be the question. Do they send us north? Do they send us south? Is going to be the question.
You'll be with Andrean, Lake Station.
I don't know. We could. It depends on what schools that.
Why don't you tell them where you want to go?
I wish it wouldn't work that way. We wouldn't have been playing in the section we played in this year if that had been the case. But, the state will come out with that in a couple weeks, and we'll have a direction and a purpose then of what we're going to go for, and the girls will be able to focus on that direction and what we're going to do. And
Central Catholic moved up to 2A.
Yes. And I don't know, again, with the reclassifications and things, what's all going to take place.
Yeah, you're kind of
so
no man's land around here for 2A schools.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, and it doesn't. We're just going to have to get ready. We've picked up McCutcheon, we've picked up Munster on our schedule. We're going down to Washington to the Hatchet tournament down there. We've been invited to play against, I believe, North Knox or South Knox.
When's that going to be?
That'll be in December 27th.
So you're still in the Lafayette tournament?
We're still in that tournament. We'll go down and.
So you had to cut down some of your regular season games. Then.
So yeah, we've had to move some things around, and we're finalizing some of that stuff. But I know for sure that we've beefed up the schedule.
Which you've wanted for years.
Yeah, which will be good for us.
Right.
And so that way we'll be even more battle tested and ready for things. And again, I think this group of girls and our program, we're ready for that. I think it's something that's going to benefit us and in the long run. And we're looking forward to it. And again, when schools are asking to play you and want to play you, that's something to look at and say, okay, it's time to make that move. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. And again, could we play McCutcheon in the IU Hoops Classic? Yes. So we play them in the regular season? Who cares? It's still a good quality team that's going to get us ready for – because we won't see them in sectional. They're not in our conference. So it's going to be a good win-win for both of us, because we're both going to be very quality teams that are going to push each other to make each other better. And again, it's just it's a good thing for us. And again, excited about next year. We're already back to work. The girls are already back to lifting and running, getting back in the gym and doing things. And
that says a lot about them.
Yeah,
if they want to do that already,
they're Monday morning. This Monday we started. They started back. They said, "Coach, we're ready to go," and they were ready to get back into it and to get quicker, stronger, and faster, to be better than what we were, and to continue to build off of that. So. We're looking forward to a lot of great things.
Before I let you go, I know you got some thank yous you'd like to pass along, so take it away.
Obviously, and it's not a cliche, I really mean, I'd like to thank the good Lord for all the blessings. Traveling 50 minutes every day, one way, so 100 miles a day, 7 days a week sometimes, 6 days a week sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know if people know that you do that every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Sometimes when I coach, because I coach football too, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. But just the safety and the travel for myself and my family, I can't thank him enough for those blessings and what he does for us. My wife, obviously, her being a principal in our schedules, but she kept my book for me. I don't think I know there's not anybody else that has a heart and a desire for these girls as much as my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And a coach is only as good as his wife.
Absolutely.
And I don't care what anybody says, and I owe a lot to her, and I thank her for her support. And I really, really mean that. I'm only as good as she is, as she allows me to be, and never one time questions, what we're doing, how long we're doing it, what we're doing, where we're going, why we're doing it. She just is there to say, how can I help? So I really appreciate her and thank her for that. And next would be my assistant coaches, Eric Van Meter, and he's been with me since day one. The guy puts a lot of time and effort into it. He's in it for the long haul. He gives the time and effort between scouting and just him and I talking every day. We literally talk every day, 2 to 3 times a day. And it's just not just about basketball, but just everything. We have that kind of relationship where him and I, whether he's doing volleyball, I'm doing football, we always make time to talk about things and to be on the same page and agree, disagree, like, don't like. He's there for me, and I really appreciate him and his family and his wife. Kelly, she's again, much like Angie, wants whatever she can do for these girls and make them successful. And then Amanda Mans, who's been with us again from the very start, does whatever I ask her to do, from warming the girls up in practice and getting them ready, or making sure we have everything that we need, that I'm not forgetting anything. She knows the routine and just does a great job making sure the girls have everything they need in the locker room, and just a great coach and a great addition to our staff that she's been for all these years. And again, I can't thank her enough for her help and all
Consistency
things.
with coaches is a big key.
It's a big thing for me, and they've been consistent with me for 8 years. 8 years they've been consistent. They've done everything I've asked. Before I took this job, those two didn't know me from Adam. Had no idea who I was, didn't know anything about it, but they bought into what we were doing. I trust them with everything. I can tell them things. I don't have to worry about them running off, blabbing their mouths here or there or anything else. They have my back as well as I have theirs, and that's something that I cherish tremendously. And I learned something a long time ago, that you have to keep a good, close-knit around you as a head coach, that people you trust, and those two I trust. And they've been there every step of the way, and again, I appreciate them so much. And then, we took on a manager this year named Ava Urbano, and Ava really brought some life to the girls and to the locker room and to the bench, and I appreciate her. I had her in class when she was little and in 4th grade, and she came out, can I just be your manager? And she came out. We appreciate her for those things. And then obviously I want to thank Ken Hickman, the AD. I appreciate him and his willingness to do whatever I asked him to do and to help me out with scheduling and games, and just his support. Again, he probably doesn't tell me all the complaints he gets about me. He probably doesn't. There's probably a lot of them out there. But
Would I talk to him then?
Yeah, he does a great job of keeping me heading in the right direction, not having to deal with things, and he's open and honest about stuff, and I appreciate that. And he's always doing whatever he can to make sure that the girls program does and is very successful. And then obviously the administration, from Andrew Drones to Greg Michael to my boss Chad Wynn, the three of them do a phenomenal job of promoting the girls, of helping me whenever I need something. They do a great job, and again, I can't thank them enough. And then obviously the school board, superintendent, all their support, standing behind us. And then again, last but not least, those 18 girls. From Ava all the way up to all the players. I hate not being in the gym with them.
Sure.
It's still tough today to even think that we're not there practicing right now and getting ready for a semi-state. And
getting a routine, don't you?
Yeah, and it's just not a routine. It's kids like Brooke Heipke and Jesse Fleming, and it's kids like Liberty Bate, who you just like being in the gym with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's kids like Carly Drone that just, when you see them, they put a smile on your face. It's kids like Brody Radke that'll run through the wall. If you ask them to, they'll do whatever they have to do to help the program, and that's what it takes. It takes kids like that are willing to sacrifice it all to make the team better, and that's one thing that I'm going to miss right now is just that camaraderie that we had and what was going on, and I've asked the girls that are coming back to make sure that continues.
Right.
So we're looking forward to a lot of great things, and I appreciate all your guys' support. I appreciate the community coming out. I'm just telling you, it's been great. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
To see some people, and Chris Meeks has been around a long time, and I consider him one of my good friends, and he looked at me at one of the games. He's like, dude, he said, there's people here I haven't seen in a long time. He said, these girls have done something to bring these people out.
Absolutely.
So, and I could talk all day long. I know you got other coaches to talk about, and talk with. But again, I appreciate your guys' support and what you do. And again, I hope Bomber Nation comes out next year and is hungry for what these girls are going to do.
Well, Wes, we sure enjoyed you talking each week about Lady Bomber basketball. What a year you had. You ought to be proud of yourself and coaches and the team. And enjoy your off season and come back and get them next year, okay?
All right. Thank you, fellas. Thanks again.
Wes Radke from the Rensselaer Center. Lady Bombers back with more of the Coach's Cage Show right after this.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
High-quality, personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
24/7 Club Fit is a 24-hour keycard accessed fitness center located in downtown Rensselaer. The 8,000 square foot facility offers free weights, weight machines, and a large variety of cardio equipment. We also offer free aerobics classes. 24/7 Club Fit offers 6-month contracts starting as low as $25 per month for students, those 55 years and older, and there are no sign-up or keycard fees. We also participate in the Silver Sneakers program. Call 219-866-0033 or contact us on Facebook. 24/7 Club Fit, where time is no excuse.
Need Rensselaer's go-to pizza, and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's Pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
All right, back to the Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com. Bob Kurtz and Scotty Miller with you here tonight as we continue rolling through the boys' season. We're talking with Trent Fegley from the Frontier Falcons. Trent, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We're ready to get to these last 3 games and see what they tell us Sunday where we're headed for
that's always a big time, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
So, how many games we have to talk about here?
We have 2. So, since last time we had North Newton and Rensselaer. We were home against North Newton in a conference battle. Played as well as we could. Gagnon, kid from North Newton, is a pretty special player, and he had a big night. Just couldn't keep him off the backboard. And I was a little upset after the game.
He had 38 points, didn't he?
38 points. He had 7 threes. And we just couldn't keep him off the glass. And when I look back and hit 11 offensive rebounds, scored on 10 of them.
Oh. He himself?
He himself.
Had 11 offensive rebounds.
11 offensive rebounds. And so I was a little upset about that. And then when I go back and look at it, I mean, we're blocking him out and fighting him, and he's just bouncing up, you know. And so it's one of those things where it's like you can only do so much. Now, if it was a sectional atmosphere and we were going to game plan to like, hey, we got to stop him only. We're not worried about anything we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different, and then maybe we would, try and pull out some gimmicky things to get him out of control. But right now what we're trying to do is we've stacked so many good games in a row. I was hesitant to change everything to stop one player when we're trying to get ready for a sectional.
Right.
So I'll take that lump and say, hey, that's my fault. But I was more concerned about us continuing to play our defenses and our offense as well instead of selling out and changing everything to stop one guy. I wanted to see us keep progressing. So he took advantage.
And who played well for you guys?
Played well for us. Drew Turner, he's been on a tear lately. He had
I heard Saturday night.
Yeah, he had a big game then too. But I mean, it was nice to look at the North Newton game and see all the way down the list. It was like 17 points, 6, 5, 8, 7. So like it's very even. But I mean, the guys that have been carrying us on offense this year, Reed Duncan, Chase Winkler, and Drew Turner. I mean, those 3 have been fantastic.
You expect that.
I do.
I mean, every game you expect that.
And that's the nice part is when at the beginning of the season, we were struggling to put it in the basket. That was our issue, and the guys knew it. And we've changed some things, and we've changed some practice habits, and we're shooting in the mornings, and they're starting to understand where their shots come in the offense, and it's really shown. And we're starting to put together some numerous 60-point games back to back to back to back, and like starting to see that we can put it in the basket. And it's not as much those 3 doing more; it's those 3 being consistent, and everybody else giving 20, by the rest of the lineup. And so if those guys can get us to 40. We're good.
If you score in the 60s, you better win most of those games.
And that's the thing is we hang our hat defensively. So if we can get to 60, I would like to say 80, 85% of the time we should hold on to those basketball games.
All right. Saturday night you went over to Rensselaer.
Yep.
And I'm sure it was an emotional time for you. You being a Rensselaer native and went to Rensselaer and coached at Rensselaer. How was that like for you first?
Yeah, it was different for me. Just being on that other bench, being in the other locker room. I'd never been in that.
You wanted to go
room.
in the Rensselaer locker room,
right?
There,
it was just uncomfortable being on that end and seeing all the people that I usually would see and maybe walk up to and fist bump before the game, and I still would do that, but they're not on my side anymore, and I'm not on their side anymore. But no, it was good to see a bunch of people. We had a big crowd of Rensselaer people behind us and Frontier people behind us, and so it was nice to kind of get everybody all.
It was a good atmosphere.
It was. It was good. It was fun, and I think I really drove our guys. But I couldn't be happier. We got to the halftime. We got in foul trouble early.
You were behind a little bit.
Yeah, we got in foul trouble early, and they were able to stretch the game away from us a little bit. We got it back to 10 before the half. Kind of went into the halftime and kind of said to the guys, like, all right, hey, they're not so big and scary, right? Like, it's not that big a deal. These, like you mentioned, you see the 3A school on your schedule, and sometimes with a young team, the guys get a little hesitant. and had a couple guys say, like, okay, yeah, we're ready to go now, and came out, and to their credit, they really put it on them in the second half.
Like a 10-0 run to start the quarter, I think, wasn't it?
And almost got them. I mean, we had it at 60-62 for 3 possessions in a row and just couldn't break the dam.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah,
that might have been the turning point there. Right?
It was. That's the thing. You get it tied or get up one, and the pressure switches.
Absolutely.
And we just couldn't get that last.
And
bucket.
you had chances. I mean, you had free throw chances.
We had 2 free throw chances that didn't go down, and then we had a really good play that we loved in the corner. And Reed blew right past him how we wanted to, and lost his footing and traveled right before he put it up. So if he doesn't lose his footing there, I'd like to think that you're at 62-62 with about a minute to go, and the pressure switches a little bit, and that would have probably done it for us. But
too many turnovers for both you and Rensselaer.
Way too many.
54 between the two of you. I think you had 28.
Yeah, we had 28. They had 27. It just turned into more or less. I think what happened was when they lost their main ball handler, the press really hurt them, and then we lost both our main ball handlers with 2 fouls in the first quarter. So when you lose our 2 main ball handlers from a 1A school, and then you pull Matthew, now they're searching for a scorer, and then we're searching for somebody to handle the ball, it can get a little sloppy.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's see who played well for you.
That night, again, was Drew Turner. He was 23 and 8, so he had 23 points and 8 rebounds. That puts him in about a 4-game stretch now where he's averaging 22 points and just over 10 rebounds. So he's had a really, really good 4-game stretch.
Do you think he's capable of that every night?
Every night.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely capable of that every single night.
Does he think he's capable of that?
Yes, and that's what flipped the switch finally is he would have one of those games early in the year. Like he had 16 rebounds against Carroll, like our second game of the year. Like a really physical big team where he had 14.16 rebounds. But then early season Drew would then turn in the next game with 8 points, 4 rebounds.
Right.
You know, and it wasn't that anybody did anything different. He just had to find another gear to play with, and now that he's found that gear and guys are figuring out how to get him the ball, and now that they can't just focus on him because other guys are scoring, it's allowed him to get loose a little bit, and
that's
he knows
wonderful.
now he can do it every night.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
And he's an underclassman, right?
Yeah, he's a junior. Yeah, he's we have a couple seniors, one of them AJ Wilson, and then Colton DeLosh, which is number 4.
Right.
And they both do a good job for us, but yeah, we're primarily young guys, so it'd be fun.
Anybody else play well for you that night?
That night, Reed Duncan had 10, hit a couple big 3-pointers. He had hit the 2 technical free throws and a 3-pointer on the same possession to pull it within 3. And that's what really flipped the pressure and helped us start to get a little closer like we needed to. But the freshmen played well that night too. I mean, Funk and Daisy both did a good job. Winkler, I don't know how many times you guys were there. How many times did we see him shoot down that right side kick-ahead layup? I mean, he did probably 4 or 5 times where he gets loose on the break, and he's a tough kid to slow down.
You guys like to run, don't
you?
We
do, yep. We'll take any easy buckets people are willing to give us, and that's knowing that we're not a big team, we have to play fast.
Right.
Yeah, so we like to get up and down the court.
What's next for the Falcons?
We have Attica Friday, and they've had a rough year, so we need to go there and continue to do what we do. Just go there, play the defense that we're going to play the offense we're going to play, and continue to tune up for the sectional. And then Saturday we have a really tough one at home, which is senior night with DeMott Christian. It's a good basketball team, 12 or 13 wins to this point. Probably the best team they've had in quite some time.
They used to have real good teams.
Real good. And then, they had a couple lull years here, and then they're right back at it. So, I mean, it's a very good basketball team, tough to beat. So we'll do our best there Saturday night to go in there and get another conference win. And then Sunday's the show where we're going to find out who we get in the sectional. Then we get a week to prepare for Clinton Central. And then, luckily for us, Friday ends our season, and we're on to concentrating on what's going to happen in that sectional.
DeMott Christian's 12-7.
12-7. Okay.
Yeah, so won 3 in a row. So
yeah,
5 out of 6. So.
Yeah, very good basketball team. So we'll get through that on Saturday.
What do you want to accomplish his last 2 weeks of the regular season?
Last 2 weeks of the regular season, I'm just ready to get, like I said, it's with everybody in the area been dealing with health. I'm ready to get everybody back for practice to where we can really make our final push.
Are we there?
Drew Turner has been out the past 2 days.
Sick?
Might not have him the weekend. Yeah, might not have him the weekend. So that's going to get, as weird as it sounds, I would love to have him back, but I'm kind of curious to see what big steps up, you know what I mean, to maybe show me who can take some minutes in the sectional.
Now, what's the standard for playing on the weekend? Could you have to go to school that day? And
yes, so you would have to be back to school that day.
Okay.
So yeah, if he gets back on Friday, which sounds like he probably will, he could play Friday night, but I think
you just play it by ear then?
Yeah, we'll be pretty delicate with him, I would sure think. This close to the sectional, I'm not going to throw him out there and run him 25 minutes in a game where he's been out a couple days. So, but yeah, Drew, I mean, if he can be back, he'll be back. I know he will. But if he doesn't, it's just one of those things where we want to get through the weekend and get ready for our final stretch here. But mainly what I'm looking for is we have really turned, over the past 2 weeks, our practices are almost the same on every day because there's little things that we're tuning up with. We may switch the order of them, but there's certain things that we're after, and then what we're doing is kind of plug in drills in between them that are like kind of bandaging some of the things that we have issues with. So, but I want them to stick with the same scheme, stick with the same stuff, but we're switching teams. I'm putting them in lineups that maybe if I get on huddle and I see what lineup has the best plus or minus, I may put them in that lineup for the practice and kind of see what they look like. And so it's kind of letting me kind of feel out the final stretch of figuring out what lineups work and all that stuff. So that's what I'm looking for.
All right. Your sectional is mainly Midwest Conference, right?
Yeah, it is. It is Frontier, West Central, North White, South Newton, Tri-County, Caston.
That should be open for anybody, shouldn't it?
It's open, yeah, and that's the thing is it's an open sectional. I mean, I don't think it's saying anything crazy to say that I think everybody believes they've got a shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should. If they don't, I mean, they should think they have a shot. But our guys are confident. They like the way they've been playing. That's 4 or 5 in a row that we've really put good games together, and I think our guys are feeling like they belong in the conversation as a team that can win it. So I think they're excited about that, and we're just excited to see how it all shakes out. Because, I mean, honestly, as odd as it sounds, that draw may have a lot to do with how it all pans out, who gets put with who in such an open sectional. That could really make a big decision for everybody.
Absolutely. I've been meaning to ask every coach, and I forget, but I'm going to ask you now.
Okay.
The rule change for fouls.
Yep.
For going from 1-1 to 17 fouls to 5 team fouls in a quarter, you shoot 2. Yep. What's that been like for you? Have you liked that way that it goes, or didn't like it, or?
So obviously the one thing that nobody likes is that late game you don't have the extra pressure on somebody to make a free throw.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you get the second one regardless. But I have liked it because, as you've seen us play, we play fast and we're very aggressive. So if we get a quarter that maybe gets away from us with some touch fouls, if we're playing aggressive, I get that reset after the second quarter, after the third quarter. So instead of, okay, cool, we come out in the first quarter and we're really, really aggressive and amped up and we get to 6 fouls in the first quarter, that second quarter could be rough if that doesn't reset. Now you get to 7 and they're shooting the entire quarter. So I personally we don't sit back and just kind of let people run around on offense. We like to get up in them a little bit. So I have liked it because I think it limits their free throw opportunities more if we have a quarter that gets away from us fouling a little bit.
And finally, JV Falcons, how are they doing?
They're almost shot for shot record of what we're doing right now. I've been very proud of the guys over the past couple weeks. We had, like I said, with some illness, we were bringing even some C-team guys up, and the difference from day one to now and everybody has been great. And I think that's as much respect for Coach Mike Sell and Coach Don Mills as anybody, because they've both done such a good job of developing those guys. While I have some of the older ones, they're making sure that we have people coming up through the system for years. So I thought they've done a great job, and I mean, we're just expecting them to hopefully finish out 2-1, 3-0 here, and have good momentum going into the off season and go from there. But yeah, JV we've been very happy with.
Trent, thanks for coming over. Appreciate it, and good luck this weekend. Good luck on the draw, and we'll talk to you next week.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Trent Fegley from the Frontier Falcons back with more. The Coach's Cage after this.
Anders Water Conditioning in downtown Rensselaer is here for all of your water supplies and softening needs. At Anders, we sell and rent water softeners, water coolers, and have all of your bottled water and salt needs too. Call Chuck to set up your consultation today. 219-866-7430. Anders Water Conditioning, family owned since 1991.
After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student-athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Every day you listen to the news, but how is that news affecting your financial world? Things like your retirement and your kids' college fund. You need someone who can help you work towards your goals. Someone to help you move forward in the times of change. Call Mindy Byer at Morgan Stanley. Mindy has 20 years of experience as a financial advisor, and she's right here in Northwest Indiana. To make an appointment with Mindy Byer, call 765-420-8433. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney LLC, member SIPC.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Reem Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan. Just ask, give Reinforcements Design a call at 219-866-8626 for your next graphic design project.
Bob Kurtz and Scotty Miller are back with you here on the Coach's Cage Show on 3KG, thecage.com, rolling through the boys' season with Kankakee Valley coach Bill Shepard. Billy, thanks for coming down. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good, Bob. How are you doing?
Doing good. How many games do we have to talk about?
Two.
Yep. Take it away.
Thursday and Friday. Last Thursday we traveled up to East Chicago Central.
You said that was going to be a tough game.
Ooh, they are really good. We played pretty well, actually. We went up there and started off well. We've had pretty good first quarters recently and pretty bad second quarters. So I'm hoping we can get out of that trend. I mean, I don't mind the good first quarter.
You need good every quarter.
Yeah, but so we went up there and about a couple minutes into the second quarter, maybe halfway through the second quarter, we're up 29-26, playing well, and then they just went on a spurt that was just wow, and it was like they went on like a 19-3 spurt to end the half, and just one of those. I mean, they're athletic, can play long, and sometimes you get caught up in that a little bit. And I mean, we didn't turn the ball over as much as you would think we would. We handled the ball pretty okay, but but you have those minutes where you do. Those couple minute stretches where you have 3 or 4 turnovers in those couple minutes, and they pile up pretty quick, and then they just go on a run. But to our credit, we came back and we actually were only down 11 going into the fourth quarter. So it was one of those where we were hanging around, and had the ball coming out of the fourth quarter, and just we missed a couple opportunities to get to single digits, and then it's probably like a 13 or 14 point game with about 3 minutes left, and then all of a sudden we put our subs in, and it was one of those where we turned the ball over too many times down the stretch and kind of got out of hand a little bit. But I mean they're just really good, so it's fine. We played fine. We played well. We just didn't have the horses to run that night that they had, and wound up.
Sometimes teams are just better than you.
Yeah, I mean, our margin of error against a team like that is super thin,
right?
And it's just we're fine playing that type of team. Just hopefully you learn from it and you move on, and you're better the next day because of it. And we wound up losing 97-72, but we very happy to score 72 against that type of team.
Absolutely.
Just one of those situations where they just got. I mean, they hit some tough shots too. Credit to them. So just one of those nights where we just played a really, really, really good team, and they played pretty well that night. We had all 5 starters were in double figures for us.
Jeez.
I mean, that almost never happens.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I mean, we played pretty well. Just didn't quite have enough depth and enough horses to run with that type of team, and that's fine. I mean, there's not a lot of teams that our type of teams that would have the horses to run with that. So we'll just learn from it and move on. But like I said, all 5 starters were in double figures, so we were happy about that. Hopefully we can learn from it and get better from it.
And you played the next night then?
Oh yeah, the next night we played. It was our 3rd game in 4 days. Second time we had that in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Because of makeups and stuff.
Right.
So we had Twin Lakes on Tuesday, which was an overtime game. We lost that. We went up to East Chicago, which was a track meet, basically, an indoor track meet, and that was a basketball game. And then we go to Calumet, and we wound up winning that one in double overtime.
Holy cow!
Yeah, so
played a lot of basketball last week.
Played a lot of basketball, and one of those where
Tell us about that.
Once again, we came out good in the first quarter and
bad in the second quarter.
And it started a little earlier this time. Like right at the end of the first quarter, we started going south a little bit, and then the second quarter was bad. Third quarter wasn't too bad. We were kind of treading water a little bit. You know, we were down like maybe 11 at halftime.
Oh, really?
We got up by 10 right away, 12-2.
You have some bad second quarters.
And then I think we were down like 11 at halftime or something like that. And it was either 9 or 11, but it was right there. And then third quarter comes along, and we treading water pretty much, and not losing any, but not gaining much. I think we were maybe down like maybe 6 going in the fourth, and then
must have had a good fourth quarter.
Yeah,
then.
we started doing we started playing like we did in the first quarter again, just executing how we had to execute and doing things we had to do, and we were able to send it into overtime.
So tell us about the end of regulation. What happened? You were down, up, even, or?
We actually had the ball with about 30 seconds left, even, and we basically were just going to call for the last shot, and we kind of ran. They were playing the zone, so we just kind of held it at half court until it was time, and we had a set called against the zone, and to their credit, they kind of blew our setup a little bit. I don't think they knew what we were running. It was just happenstance that they happened to be in the right spot, and kind of blew our setup a little bit. So then Cam Webster shot about a 23, 24-footer. I don't think he knew how much time was left because it was a little quick because things got discombobulated out there. Missed it, and then they got a rebound and called timeout with like 2.9 left. But they had to go the length of the floor, and we made sure they threw it in front of us. I mean, they wound up shooting like a 70-footer at the buzzer. So that was the first overtime. I mean, that was regulation.
Now the first overtime.
The first overtime, we get a nice little 4-point lead, 5-point lead, something like that. And then they bust a couple of threes as we scored some free throws and stuff. So winds up being tied, but now they got the ball with 20 seconds left.
Wow.
And it's we got to get a stop here to send this into a second overtime. And to our credit, we played some pretty good D and made them take a really, really tough shot. Got a rebound right at the buzzer, and we didn't have any time to do anything with it, so that's fine. But we played some pretty good on-ball defense there and made them take a really tough shot. So we were happy with that. And then the second overtime, I mean, we got up by 7 or 8 pretty quick, and kind of cruised in from there. We wound up winning by 6, but they hit either a 2 or a 3 right at the buzzer, so it was either 8 or 9. I mean, we
must have played great in that second overtime then.
Yeah, played well in the second overtime. Got a couple of transition buckets off turnovers and stuff, and just and I think with all the basketball we played in those 4 days, I think we finally just hit the point where can we just be done?
What was the final there?
83-77.
So you scored 72 and 83 last week?
Yeah. So that
you must have had 5 starters in double figures again.
No, but we had 4, I think, in double figures. But we had it wasn't as spread out this time. We had Cam led us with 26, I believe, on that night. And Bobby Lalonde, our point guard, had 19. We did have, I know Brady Sampson had 13ish, I believe. So we had at least those 3, and I think our center Jeremiah Jones had 10 as well. So we had 4 in double figures. But like I said, Cam had, believe it or not, had a terrible shooting night. Didn't hit a 3 all night long.
Really?
And for him, I don't remember a game where he has never hit a 3. So it was one of those situations where we're kind of happy that we did win without that.
So would you have 2 days of practice last week?
Monday, Wednesday, and then after Friday, I'm like, you don't want to see each other. You don't want to see me. I don't want to see you. Saturday's off.
Yeah, I would say so. That's a lot of basketball.
Yeah, and we're hoping that works in our favor this week because we got Hanover Central coming up at home on Friday.
That'll be a tough competition, won't it?
Yeah, but they played Friday, Saturday, and they played last night at home. They played tonight at Hobart. So we're hoping that works in our favor now.
The old Wednesday night game, huh?
Yeah, because they'll now be playing 3 and 4 nights by the time they get to our place on Friday, and also 5 and 7 days by the time they get to our place.
Wow!
So we're hoping. Because our kids at Calumet on Friday were tired.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were just tired. So we're hoping that works in our favor now with Hanover coming in with the same type of schedule that we just got done with.
And how are they this year?
10-9. They won last night to become 10-9. They're playing at Hobart tonight, conference game for them. So we'll see how that goes. But so they could be 11-9 or 10-10 coming in, one of the two. And we're looking forward to hopefully we're 11-9 now. We're hoping to get our 12th win on Friday, and then we got McCutcheon coming in on Saturday, who obviously not having a typical McCutcheon year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that Tyler Shear?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tyler used to be Tri-County coach.
Yep, and they're like 4-14 or 5-14
But
or something
still.
like that. But still McCutcheon.
Yeah,
you
no
know,
kidding.
So we got to be ready to go there. So hopefully we get a couple good home wins this weekend if we play well, play like we're supposed to. Just, like we talked about last week, just stick with the plan. Offense and defense, just do what we're supposed to do. People are trusting that people are leaning on you to do what you're asked to do, so just do what you're asked to do and don't try to do too much. And, hopefully we can do that and get a couple of W's.
What's next week then?
At North Judson on Friday to finish it up. So
really, just 3 games left then, huh?
Yep. So we're hoping if we can get these 3, maybe to be 14-9, and that's a pretty solid season for regular season overall. That would be 9 of our last 12 win that we would have won too. So I think that'd be pretty good.
Absolutely. Now your sectional, who you in with? Where are you playing at?
We're playing at Chesterton. We're in with Chesterton, Valparaiso, Crown Point, Portage, Hobart, Lowell, and us.
All the bad schools.
Yeah, yeah.
God, that's a tough sectional, Bill.
It is, but I think us beating Portage a couple weeks ago, at least in our mindset, kind of changes a lot of how we view that. I mean, I don't know if we could beat every team in that sectional,
but you don't have to.
But I also know that Portage is good enough that they can.
Mm-hmm.
But we also know we're good enough to beat them.
Right. That's a big thing.
Yeah, so it's one of them that maybe we would really have a hard time beating Crown Point, but Portage could beat them, and we can beat them. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of depends on how the draw shakes out and where you're at. And,
luck of the draw.
I mean, we every year we're looking for a. Obviously in that type of section, you're looking for either a bye or hopefully a little less bumpy of a road. But I think with us beating Portage, I think we aren't as set. I mean, we're not gonna, if we get an easier draw or whatever, somebody would consider an easier draw, we're not gonna give it back.
Right.
But I thought with that win, I don't think we're as insistent on, man, we need this or we need that.
Right.
Let's see who we get. I mean, and there's, since we can beat this team, there's probably plenty of teams in this section we can beat. So let's just go out there and do what we got to do.
Well, some more big news happened this week. The reclassification, and that's going to affect you guys, Kankakee Valley, right?
Yep.
Tell us what's going on.
We've always been right on the line between 4A and 3A, and we've always bounced around. It seems like every 2 years. We're 4A 2 years, then we're 3A 2 years.
Either the bottom of the 4A
or top of the 3A.
Top of the 3A.
And one thing that really does is it really makes it difficult to schedule. Because
absolutely.
You're like, do we schedule this group of teams or do we schedule this group of teams? And where are we looking at? It's just so hard because there's no consistency in that because of where you're at.
Right.
And anyway, they changed the percentages this year, so instead of the top 25% being 4A, it's only the top 20% of schools being 4A now.
Oh, okay.
So you
just go from the top and 20%.
So normally it's like 101, 202, 303, and the rest.
Right.
But now 20% is like 81, so it's going to be the top 81 schools, and then or 80 or 81 depending on which.
So you're not anywhere near that.
No, we're at 102. We're well below that, and then so now the percentages go 20%, 25%, 25%, and 30%.
I see.
So so like you'll have 81. Let's just say 81 schools in 4A, and then 101 in like normal in 3A, 101 like normal in 2A, and then 1A is the 101 normal plus the extra 20, so like 121 or something like that.
And I think if I was a coach in a K, I'd like that move.
Yeah, and well, I believe that's what type of school we are anyway.
Right.
So that's definitely going to benefit. A couple of things I like about the new format is they're going to try to also have the same sectionals across the board.
You mean the number of teams in them?
Well, no. What I mean is boys basketball, girls basketball, baseball, and softball all have the same teams.
Oh, okay.
Across the board. So
that's not necessary. That's not true this year, right?
No.
Yeah.
So that way, you get a little rivalry, a little consistency across sports. So that I think that's going to be pretty good.
Do you have any idea who you're going to be in with next year?
No,
there's a lot of 3A schools in your area.
A lot. There's enough way up in the northwest corner that we probably won't go there, but there's also too many in the northwest corner. So, do some get shipped our way and we get mixed in and maybe go east, like with I mean, Knox is 2A now, but maybe like with John Glenn or Culver Military or people like that.
Or do you come down to Benton Central and Twin Lakes?
Way. We've always been in the middle,
right?
Kind of out in the middle of nowhere there, or that's what people think anyway. So,
right.
Just are we going to go east?
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Lowell's now 3A.
Oh, are they? Yeah.
Yeah. Lowell and Highland will be 3A and stuff like that. So so some schools that are in our conference there. So it's just where things go, how things get paired up, especially up in that corner is going to dictate a lot where we go. So but yeah, it's nice because now you can I mean we know we're going to be 3A now for a while with those percentages. So
right.
Now we can maybe start fine tuning that schedule a little bit and get a little more consistency from year to year.
And you hope whoever determines the sectional sites, they pay attention to the location, because like Rensselaer this year, they have to go all the way down to Frankfort.
Well, yeah.
And you got to Chesterton's quite a little drive for you guys too.
And our sectional is a little different because I think all those schools travel pretty well anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like there was a couple of times like in a 3A sectional where like if you make us go somewhere, if we're not involved, like let's say we get beat on a Wednesday or a Friday, then your crowd just is gone.
Right.
Because KV travels typically. But if you host it at KV, then even if KV is not playing, I mean those people, the community people, come out and watch the game.
People would still come. Yeah.
People go out and watch the ball game. So from a money making standpoint,
and that's what
you'd rather have it be there because even if KV is not playing, the community will still come watch the ball game.
Yeah.
So. Those are some things sometimes people don't think about as much as they need to think about.
Money talks with the IHSAA.
You would think, anyway.
Forgot to ask you how the JV Cougars doing. I always got to ask that.
Well, we're 11-9. They're 10-9 just because they played one less game than we have. But they had a great week last week. They beat Twin Lakes on Tuesday. They beat East Chicago on Thursday.
Really?
Yep. Did great up there, and then they wound up beating Calumet really handily on Friday. So they had a good 3-0 week last week.
You didn't steal any players from them.
We actually did about a month ago. About a month ago, we stole their best player a month ago, and they've I mean, it took them a couple weeks to adjust.
I bet it did.
They've adjusted pretty well, and they had a really great week, and we're hoping that they have 3 more to finish up the year on. So that'd be outstanding for them.
Billy, thanks for coming down. Appreciate it, and good luck, and excited to see you in 3A for sure.
We feel the same way.
All right. Bill Shepard has been our guest. Back to talk with Ricky Monemeyer from South Newton right after this.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza, and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Midwest Contractor Services of Rensselaer, with over 15 years of experience, offers both insulation and gutter services for new construction and existing homes in Jasper, Newton, Lake, and Porter counties. You could save money and lower energy bills by adding more insulation to your house. New insulation project? Let Midwest Contractor Services offer you a custom insulation package that fits your needs. Leaves in your gutter? Let us give you a price on leaf protection products that really work and are affordable. Call Marty or Mark at Midwest Contractor Services today at 219-866-0755 and get an estimate for your project.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Reem Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan. Just ask, give Reinforcements Design a call at 219-866-8626 for your next graphic design project.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Back on the Coach's Cage show on 3KGthecage.com. Bob Kurtz and Scotty Miller with you. We're joined by Ricky Monemeyer from the South Newton Rebel Boys team. Ricky, been a couple weeks since we talked to you. You've got a lot of games to talk about, so thanks for coming over and take it away.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. I'm trying to think when we played Tri-Township. It was the Saturday of girls sectional. It was a weird timed game. Every one of those Saturdays usually play mid-afternoon. I think our varsity started at like 4:30-ish. It was our first time playing Tri-Township in quite a while. I think last I looked, the last 35 years we played each other twice. They're a new addition to our schedule, and it's a good addition for us just where we're at, skill-wise right now and record-wise. So it was a good, comparable game for us. We traveled up there, started off, we were up halftime, but I didn't feel great at half. I felt like it was one of those we could be up by a lot more kind of thing. It was 15-12 at the half, and I don't know. I just didn't feel like we were playing crisp and the way we should be playing in that game. And second half, kind of slow coming out, but then we played a lot better in the fourth quarter and ended up running away with it. We won 44-34 in that game. Chase Stillebauer led us with 11, and then we had Armstrong and Luke Hoskins with 8 apiece. So pretty even scoring, like our typical games. You have
your defense. You must be pretty proud of that. Though.
Yeah, we held them 34. They did have a couple kids that were out sick, but their 2 best players were there, and we did a really good job on them. Chase Stillebauer held their best guard to 8 points, and 5 of those were in the fourth quarter. So for 3 quarters, he held them 3 points, and the kid's averaging over 10 a game. So Chase did a really good job on him, and then the big kid they have inside, Luke did a pretty good job on him. Held him to 9, and I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said, I just wish we'd score a little more, but I don't think that right now we have the team that's going to blow teams out of the building.
Right.
If we win, it's going to be by,
low scoring,
5-10 points or so,
yeah.
which is fine. Win's a win. I wasn't overly happy about like the way we played, but we'll take a win any day. So
absolutely.
Last week we had our Illinois stretch of games. We had a Donovan game on Wednesday
yeah.
last week. Traveled over there. We haven't played them consistently for a few years. We picked them back up on the schedule. We're hoping that's going to be a kind of every year thing now.
Is it different playing Illinois schools or no?
Yeah, it's different.
Officiating different?
Officiating's a lot different.
Is that right?
It's funny. Coach Caldwell from Milford, I was talking to him Friday night, not to get too off topic, but we were talking about playing Illinois, Indiana schools, and he's been at Milford for quite a while, and he was telling us that he used to play at Tri-County, but he went over there years ago and played, and he said the officiating was so bad that he never came back, kind of thing. I didn't say anything, but that's how I feel half the time we go to Illinois schools. So I thought it was funny his perspective on it, because I feel like we never get great refs in Illinois.
Right.
But, no, we went over there and pretty even first quarter, and then I felt like we had a lot of mishaps in the second quarter, which allowed them to build a lead on us. They went up 28-19 at half. You're not out of the game, but at that point, like just momentum-wise, you just feel they had all the momentum in the game. It was just kind of a weird flow of a game. Third quarter, we did outscore them by 1, and then fourth quarter we just couldn't get away. We were just kind of back and forth until the very end. They started hitting some shots and pulled away from us. But
final score was what?
47-34. We just couldn't score in the game. It was one of those nights. Colton Marks, he had 15, and then outside of that, it was like 6-5, 2, 3, 3.
Right.
So we typically
really need two guys up there.
Yeah.
Or three would be better.
We typically have 10 to 15 a night, which is a lot different than last year. I get mad, I guess, that we lose some games here this year, but we are playing so much better than we were last year. You compare stats, and you see the spread of our scores, and you see that, like, we have 3 guys averaging almost 10 a game. Like, it's just a lot different, and sometimes it's hard to grasp too that, 3 or 4 of our top guys, it's their first year of varsity basketball. So we're proud of them. They're growing, but just sometimes it's frustrating, the stretches that we go on. So we lost to Donovan Wednesday, and then Friday we had a home game against Milford. That was a makeup game from like a few weeks ago. Another team is very comparable to us and to Donovan. All the schools that we played this last week were all like right around 500. They had like 12, 13 wins or so apiece. So not terrible teams, but they all play each other as well. So we were able to see kind of film on who they played, and like it's just weird the way they split over there. Like Donovan beat Milford would beat Iroquois West, but Iroquois West would beat Donovan. So like it's just I don't know, the way they split over there is super weird, and it's just matchups. But I thought we played really well against Milford. We just did not defend great in that game. We ended up giving up 63, which the last few games we've given up right around under 50. So
yeah, that's not like you.
No, but we held who we thought was their better scorer in check. He had 9. But another kid had 17, a kid 14, a kid with 13. So kids that we were wanting to shoot the ball more were hitting shots. That's just typically how it goes. But we ended up scoring 54 in the game, which ties our season high for the year. We had 2 guys in double figures and 2 guys just outside that. Matthew Armstrong led us with 19, and then Colton Marks was right behind him with 13. So the scoring's increased. Like, we've been over 50 3 or 4 times this year. I don't think we did that but once last year. So that aspect is good. We just got to defend a little better, and that's going to lead us into these next 2 games as well. Saturday we went over to Iroquois West, which is another one that's just another like 30 minutes from us. That squad we haven't seen, or we saw them last year, but they had a Division I kid that's playing football at Iowa now, a 6'8" kid last year. Offensive lineman for Iowa, he redshirted, but from his coaches, what he told me, he's expected to play a little bit this year. So good for him. But then we come to this game, and I was thinking pretty comparable, and then we find out their big kid is going to Illinois State on a football scholarship too. So he is not as tall, but he was 6'4", 300 pounds. So moving him out of the way and kind of maneuvering inside was a little tough, but we really battled in this game. We were down 13-3 after the first quarter. We switched some things defensively and on offense to kind of expose their weaknesses. And the rest of the game, for the 3 quarters that we played, we outscored them by 1. So we don't give up that 10-point lead in the first quarter. It's a game we're probably in throughout to the finish. So we're pretty proud of them Saturday. I thought we played hard. It was just one of those games where we missed a lot of free throws. We started off kind of slow, and that just dug the hole for us. So. In that game, nobody in double figures, but a lot of spread-out scoring. Matthew Armstrong had 9, Chase Silbauer was 7, and then Owen Firkins was 6. But yeah, very proud of this game. I thought the effort was better. We defended a lot better, and it just came down to hitting free throws and not digging ourselves a hole. So that led us to last night, senior night. We hosted North Newton.
Big rivalry game.
Big rivalry game. We knew coming in that they had 2 kids that would be scoring all their points. And
let me guess, Evan Gagnon.
Evan Gagnon and Patrick Berry, and that is exactly what happened last night. They scored 65, and of the 65, they scored all but 12 of the points.
Oh, my God.
So we knew what they were going to do. It was just one of those, like, it's like, I don't know, you try to stop him. You're attempting to do things, but, like, it doesn't matter. He's that good of a player.
That's what Trent Begley said with
he's
their
good.
Game against.
He's just good. And
how many points did he have?
36.
He had 38 against Frontier.
Yeah, so he's a great player, very athletic. Watching film and seeing stats, our goal going in was let's make him shoot the ball before we let him get to the rim, because he's just very good at finishing around the rim. He can get things going. He has good passing skills where he can just dump it off to open guys, and we didn't want to get into that game. So we went some zone stuff against him and forced him to shoot the ball. Coming in, I was like, there's no way he hits like 5+ threes or anything in this game. Like, he might, but like, it's the risk we're willing to take kind of thing. He ends up hitting 7 threes against
That's the way he did against Frontier. It's almost the same time of game.
Yeah, so he was, it was nothing but net. He hung the net a couple times. And
what can you can't do anything about that.
We're contesting, but he's also, as he jumps on his jump shot, he's a foot over our arms kind of thing. So like, it was just a tough matchup for us, and we really didn't. We played very slow and like just kind of timid in the first half, but as we got going, I thought we played really well down the stretch, and we actually outscored them in the second half, and we played a lot better down the stretch. But we give a guy 36 and the next guy 17, that's kind of hard to come back from. So we ended up losing 65-52, a lot more competitive than last year. That was one of those that I was kind of worried about going in, just because I know that we literally laid an egg last year at North Newton. We got beat by like 40 up there, so it was one of those, like, we have to be competitive, especially in a conference game, senior night, a rival. So like, it was one of those, just telling the kids all week, like, we've got to be ready to go. Leading us in scoring last night was Chase Sullivan with 15, Colton Marks with 14, and then Matthew Armstrong with 10. So we had 3 in double figures.
That's
about what we
probably what you want to be, right?
Yeah, if we score 52 in a game, typically we're thinking like, we're in it or we're going to win, because we don't score over 50 very often.
Right.
But, we can't give up 65, and we talked about it today. We had a lot of defensive mishaps and just being out of position and rotating maybe a little too far within the zone, leaving certain guys open when you can't. So stuff that we can fix and adjust, and I think the guys get it, and we had some, conversations after the game last night, and we're all on the same page. So as long as we can make those adjustments and learn and get better, I think we'll be in good shape down the stretch here.
It seemed to me like you're a lot more competitive this year with game in and game out than you were last year.
A lot more competitive. Like I said, I talk to the coaches all the time, and they're pretty good about keeping me like in more of a positive mindset about things, because I'm one that I hate losing. I'd rather, I'd rather do anything else than lose. But it's one of those, like, we see the growth. Like, you look at our roster outside of our top, like outside of like Chase and Luke, Colt Marks is first year varsity, Armstrong first year varsity, Owen Firkins, Dominic Scott, Carlos Lopez, Miguel. Those are all first year varsity guys that are getting big minutes
and getting valuable experience too.
Right, and then like Chase, Luke, and Lucas Biguski were 3 guys that played a lot of varsity minutes last year, but I guess not Chase because he was hurt. So Luke and Lucas are the 2 that come back with our most experience. And
how many seniors did you have?
We have 3 this year.
3?
And 1 did not play varsity last year, so this is his first exposure to anything varsity. So
you're going to have a lot of experience coming back.
We have a lot of experience coming back, and our sophomore class is pretty big. And they production-wise, they lead us in a lot of stuff. So we're pretty excited about the future of that group, and then pairing them with, our freshmen now that have got some good momentum going, and then incoming 8th grade or next year's freshmen, and then the 7th graders now. Like, there's some good pieces in there that if they develop, we can pair them with what we have and have some good things down the stretch here.
What's the rest of this week look like? The rest of the season? You don't have that many games left, I don't think, do you?
No, we have 3 left. So Saturday we are at North Miami, which is like an hour-and-a-half drive for us. It's like north of Peru.
How'd you get that? Is this the first year on the schedule for them?
No, we've played them the last like 3 or 4 years. I can't remember if Salmons picked him up when he was the head coach, but I can't remember if that was kind of like a COVID time pickup where teams were kind of scrambled to find games.
Right.
And we've just kept them on since. But it's a pretty competitive game for us, even though it is a drive. The last couple years, we beat them in double overtime last year. I think the year before that, they beat us pretty good on their senior night. And then the year before that, we beat them at our place. Like, it's pretty even matchup for the most part. But yeah, the hour-and-a-half drive, we're over there. It's a weird time game. Our JV plays at 11. Varsity will play at 1:30. I think they've moved it up just because of the drive, which is fine. We get home early and we can do some things when we get back, or at least, with the families and whatnot. And then next week we go Monday at Faith Christian. No school that day. It's President's Day, so we've got to find some kind of routine to get the kids in at some point and get down there so they're not just sleeping all day. And then next Friday, we are at Attica for the season finale. So that's the one that's kind of been at the end of our schedule for a long time. Another team that's struggled, not a lot of wins this year, but they are scoring the ball better this year. And I've told the kids, like, we can't, like, have a bad game against them either. Like, It just doesn't work down the stretch here. So they're aware. Like, I think we've got a couple winnable games here coming up in the season, and then sectional play, and anything can happen. So
yeah, your sectional is, to me, we've talked to the other coaches in that sectional, it's got to be wide open.
Right.
Isn't it?
As I say, you got your top ones, obviously. Like Tri County still, for me, is the one circled. Like, they won it last year. Obviously, for me, the favorites, just because you got to beat the guys that won it last year to, take that spot. So I think that they're playing really good basketball right now. Caston is kind of up and down, but they'll be ready to go. Frontiers looked really good down the stretch here, so it's one that I think is pretty wide open. If we're playing our best basketball, we get the right draw, I think anything can happen. So,
all right, Ricky, thanks for coming over. Appreciate it, and good luck this week. Good luck on the draw, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Ricky Monemeyer from the South Newton Rebels, back to wrap things up with Chad Pulver from Rensselaer Central after this on 3KGTheCage.com.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
High-quality, personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
At Applegate Seed House, we specialize in any and all small seed project needs. This includes government programs, CRP, pollinators and waterways, pasture mixes, and new lawn seed. Applegate Seed House is located 2 miles north of Brook, Indiana, and 2.5 miles east of Highway 41. Call Sam at 765-363-3113. That's Sam at Applegate Seed House, 765-363-3113.
24/7 Club Fit is a 24-hour keycard accessed fitness center located in downtown Rensselaer. The 8,000 square foot facility offers free weights, weight machines, and a large variety of cardio equipment. We also offer free aerobics classes. 24/7 Club Fit offers 6-month contracts starting as low as $25 per month for students, those 55 years and older, and there are no sign-up or keycard fees. We also participate in the Silver Sneakers program. Call 219-866-0033 or contact us on Facebook. 24/7 Club Fit, where time is no excuse.
Hey, Ricky. All right, welcome back to the Coach's Cage. We're wrapping things up here, like always, with Rensselaer Central boys coach Chad Pulver. Chad, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
How many games do we have to talk about since last Wednesday?
We played Benton Central on Thursday and then Frontier on Saturday.
Take us through those games.
Thursday night was not a good showing for us. We had a shot in the first half. We're doing all right, and then had a breakdown toward the end of the second quarter with about a minute to go and gave up an 8-point run in 3 possessions, and then that kind of changed the end of that half for us. We had controlled that half. We had a lead, and then went in down by 4 points going into halftime, and so made some adjustments, felt good about that, and then coming out into the second half, we did not execute very well. Didn't execute on offense, didn't execute on defense, and over the course of the next quarter, we only scored 3 points and gave up 24 points, and then in the fourth quarter gave up another 17 on top of that, and I mean it was a very, very bad showing in the second half for us. We just couldn't seem to right the ship and figure things out, and so we had to lick our wounds a little bit on Thursday.
You just forget about that game then?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that game anymore.
Yeah.
That was just.
I don't blame you.
It was just the things that we had practiced all week. We know BC very well.
Right.
They know us very well, so there wasn't anything that we went in and were surprised about,
Right.
and so to lose to a team, clearly BC was ready to play. They were physical. We're a physical team. It wasn't anything that we didn't know was coming. The issue is that we stopped executing everything that we had planned for the whole week, and so that's very disappointing for us. And so we had very frank conversations that night and into Friday, and knowing that we had a Frontier team coming in on Saturday.
That wasn't bad.
No, they're a good team, and
Yeah.
so they've improved over the course of the last month or so. They've gotten much better. They execute their plan. They know who they are. They run their zones, and we spent quite a bit of time preparing for a zone, and then got into Saturday night and didn't execute real well. We had openings, we had opportunities, we had shots, but the shots did not fall for us, and then ended up getting frustrated and not taking care of the ball. We had well over 20 turnovers in that game, and
Yeah, both of you did.
yeah, it was. And our style is to speed the other team up to cause turnovers, but then we are supposed to take care of our own side, and we did not do that very well. And so, we ended up holding ground, and we got the win in the end. But I think at one point we had a 18-point lead, and really squandered it.
And they came within 2.
Yeah, they had a
62
chance,
to 60,
and they had multiple chances to
Yes,
be
they
able
did.
to go ahead and tie. And so, again, we pulled out our win. I think we made 6 consecutive stops at the end of the game, but of those 6 stops, we had 5 turnovers. So that's very frustrating
Right.
when we work hard to try to remedy those things.
Right.
So that's what we've done all week. It has not been a fun week of practice for the guys. I wouldn't say that we're rah-rah and happy and
Sure.
excited because we're having so much fun. Like, we had work that we needed to do,
Right.
and the guys have done a nice job. They have really stepped up. They've taken the challenge on, and so we'll find out tomorrow. We have Couts coming to our place, and we have to execute.
Sure.
Couts has some good players. They have a good inside guy. And if we don't do what we need to do on the help side, we don't do what we need to do to force them to play a different style of game, they're going to slow it down, and they'll play a 35-33 game, and that is not to our advantage.
Right. And you need to start playing your best basketball. You're running out of regular season.
That's correct. And so, again, we are a squad. We are a staff that talks about the end of the season. We talk about what it means to be playing our best basketball. We talk about what needs to happen to the playoffs. So we talk a lot of X's and O's and strategies, and wanting to get the last shot and what that actually means. Calling last shot with 45 seconds to go doesn't mean to go down and shoot it. I mean, it means if we have a 3-point lead and we call last shot, the worst that should happen is we miss a shot and we keep our 3-point lead. And so, even today in practice, we did multiple repetitions to make sure that was clear. What do we need to do? How does it need to go? And correcting things that needed to happen. And so I do feel like we've taken really good steps, and now I just want to see us do that in the game. I think it's important for the players to feel what that's like, to have a complete game.
One more thing on the Frontier game, you had a chance to coach against your former JV coach in Trent Fegley.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? And was that? He said it was a little weird going to the other locker room.
I imagine it was, and the part for me was Trent and I get along very well. We had a good history together. We have a lot, I think, of good memories working together.
Absolutely.
And so I think that, him coming and going to the other locker room. I mean, he's a Rensselaer Central grad.
Yeah, Rensselaer's a native too. Yeah.
And so, his children still go to our school system. His family's still here, and so he's got a lot of other surrounding factors. And so for me, it really was a game. And I got to see someone I get along with, and I get along with other head coaches quite well. And what I knew going into the game was there weren't going to be a lot of surprises that we could throw at Trent Bagley. Like, when I have someone on staff, I'm an open book. Like, the terminology, I don't hide things from my staff. I don't hide things from my players. And so, as far as him knowing the calls for plays and I mean, we didn't have a Trent Fagley call. Like it's the same calls that when he was there.
Right.
So, there were a couple times in the game where he's shouting to the guys about where they need to go because he knows, and it's like that's part of his job now.
Sure.
I mean, so it was what I liked about it. It was competitive. I feel like I've said it before when small schools have teams that they can be proud of and get to play hard for and to be able to have good experiences with that. I think it helps all of us that live in rural areas.
He said, it was a good thing. We lost the game, but we got some good out of it. So.
Absolutely. I think they're a young team. They have a lot of guys that can get up and down, and I think they're learning very quickly who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think as far as what they got out of the game, they were able to travel on the road and really put a nice game together.
Right.
And what we got out of the game was we have to execute better.
Right.
We have, both of us are going into sectionals in a week and a half.
Right.
In order for us to make a splash, we have to be doing things much better than we did on Saturday night.
Let's talk about what you hope to accomplish these last 2 weeks. How many games you have left, and what do you hope to accomplish?
So we have 1 game this week and 3 games next week.
Ooh,
and so we
3.
ended up getting a Friday night game. So we have
so you didn't know the last week.
Correct. And so we were able to wiggle one out. So we're playing Hamilton Heights on Friday night. And
Here?
So, yes, we'll be home.
Oh, well, there.
And so
that's a good thing.
It is good for us because it feels like we've been on the road a lot.
Yeah.
And so, hosting on Saturday with Frontier was great. But we haven't been home in 2 weeks. And then, going back on the road on Tuesday and Thursday again this week with going to Lowell and then to West Central. But to be able to turn around and come back on Friday and play Hamilton Heights, which is a 3A school, they're a tough squad. So we'll get a quick taste of where we need to be, whatever our draw is. I mean, we can play against a tough team, and I think that'll give us a quick measure going into sectional.
And again, Benton Central, West Lafayette,
Twin Lakes, Northmont, Frankfort, us, and Western.
And of course, in their central location of Frankfort is the sectional, right?
Frankfort has the sectional again, so we are driving over an hour to get there.
Do you get to practice there or no?
We will go next Saturday, so a week from Saturday we will go. No. Yes, a week from Saturday.
The season's about over with. Regular season.
Right, it
Holy
is.
cow.
So we will play a game on Friday night. We will wake up and drive to Frankfort on Saturday and have our practice in Frankfort on Saturday. And then
you played there before, though, right? Or not?
Well, last year's squad did.
Okay.
So, I mean, some of the guys have been in that gym.
Right.
But a number of the guys have never been in a varsity game on that floor.
Do you find the practice there beneficial?
I do. Partially because we get so many shots up and we run them around and we're doing things. Our home gym is a very nice shooter's gym. The walls are close to the backboards, not a lot of busy. There aren't people that are sitting behind the backboards. And Frankfort is an open arena. And so they may have people that are in that top section, that balcony section, as well as the walls are not close to the backboards. And so getting that gauge, and if I remember correctly, their rims are pretty tight. And so you have to be able to put the ball on the rim. BC's rims, for example, are very, very gentle, and so you can chuck something up there, and it gets a little bit of life.
St. Joseph's College, gentle.
I liked St. Joseph's College.
Oh, absolutely! Those rims were.
I felt they were beautiful.
Yes, they were. All right. So, who's the favorite?
I would have to say Twin Lakes is probably the favorite. Yeah, they are playing very good basketball right now, and I think it played everyone in the sectional and beaten them. And going in as of the Saturday, I think they were 14-4 and playing pretty darn good basketball. So I would say on paper they're the favorite. I think on paper going in we're probably the lowest guy in the totem pole. So it's okay for us to be at that level because we've had to learn a lot, we've had to overcome a lot, and if we get the right rhythm going into these last 2 weeks, I don't think anyone's going to see us coming.
That's a good place to be. Huh?
I'd say, given the reality, it's the place that we are, and it's probably the place that we should be.
All right, a couple days ago, the IHSA came out with their reclassification for next year, the next 2 years, and I think it's a good move. Rensselaer Central is going from one of the smallest 3A schools to middle of the pack, 2A. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's fine. I think that, when they went to class basketball in the 90s, the idea behind it is we want teams to be able to compete against the teams they're playing against. I grew up in Michigan where class basketball has been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate the single-class basketball system in Indiana, and it was fantastic when it was intact. That's been 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
not coming back.
Yeah, so it's okay that they're tweaking it. I think it's okay that they're trying to get away from we have to have even numbers in the classes and trying to make it to where like schools are playing against each other. And so nothing's going to be perfect.
Right.
But I think that realizing that if there are teams that are, the difference between a 500-student school and an 800-student school is sometimes very significant.
Right.
And so, to have us at a 325 school playing against teams like Twin Lakes, which is much larger than us.
Right.
And it's not because we don't have a rivalry with Twin Lakes. I mean, we do. And I think that that's important. And in a regular season, we're still going to play them. But the reality is that if you're looking for a class basketball system, I don't know if that helps what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same way if you start looking at teams like KV going and playing against some of those dueling conference teams.
Right.
Like those schools have thousands and thousands of students, and KV has 1,100.
And KV dropped to 3A,
Correct.
which is where they should be.
I think so. I think that's a fair assignment of what it is.
And North Newton dropped from 2A to 1A, so.
And so the only other aspect, which tends to be a sticking point for a lot of people, regardless of what sport you're talking about, is when you start talking about private schools versus public schools.
Correct.
And so you have a school, and I'm just going to say names because they're in our conference, but Central Catholic as a 1A school, because of numbers, is probably a little bit different than Frontier being a 1A school.
Defending Metza, Central Catholic is now 2A. So.
But because of the
success factor.
The success factor.
Yeah.
So, they do have things built in to try to help with that. But when you look at historically some of the teams that run deep into the tournaments, it's not uncommon to have, 8 final teams and 7 of them are private schools.
Right.
That part's disappointing because I don't think that's the spirit of what we're trying to do. Number-wise, that's fine.
Right.
But I do know that some states have a private school tournament and they have a public school tournament.
Illinois does, right? I think.
I don't know if Illinois does, but there's a lot of things they can do. So what my point is that tweaking it isn't a bad thing, and so that's fine. We'll figure it out.
But now, who around here is 2A? You're going to have to travel a ways.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked at. I've been in a hole since Saturday, so I've been trying to fix other things that are maybe within my control. I don't have any control of what class we're in, and I haven't looked. Usually when it's coming out, it's usually more in the springtime. So I'm usually finished with the season, and I can really get into it. So I don't know who is a 2A school, if they're going to push us east, like to potentially play against Winnemac and Rochester and Lewis Cass, which is where we were a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We had over the COVID year into 2020, and they extended it for that next round. We stayed in that level for I think 4 years.
Right.
And so because we were a 3A, dropped down to a 2A, COVID extended that for one rotation, so we had a 4-year stint at 2A, and then bumped it back up to 3A by, 15 students or whatever it was. So.
Or can you go to Andre and Lake Station?
Yeah, we could. I don't know.
I don't know any other 2A schools up there, so.
No, send them to South Bend.
Send them to Michigan or something. So anyway, okay. So that's taken care of. 2A, that's where the Bombers should be. I'm glad about that.
Yeah, I think that's a good match for us. I think that we're clearly a lot larger than some of the rural schools that are around us, and I think that representing that and being able to acknowledge that and put us with schools that are like-sized, I think it's good for us. And it will probably require us to do similar to what we're doing this year, which is driving a longer distance.
Right.
But that's okay.
Will it change your schedule at all, or do you know yet?
I would doubt that it changes our schedule much. Part of the reason why is a 2-year rotation is really difficult to switch everything around.
Because then that doesn't give you much time.
No, and if they were saying, okay, for the next 4 years or 5 years, then you play out your contracts, and then you can start to switch things around because you know that you've got to change what you're doing. But if it's just 2 years, we don't know what's coming next.
Right.
So we're still going to play the teams that are close to us.
Right.
So, as far as playing Tri-County and Winnemac and West Central and KV, I mean, they're going to stay on our schedule because we're here. That's who we're around.
North and South and Benton Central.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all county schools around us, and that's part of what we have to do.
Right.
And then, there's a few other schools. Hanover Central. I imagine that they're going to stay at a 3A level and not be at our level. And and so they're one of those schools that's growing quite fast.
Right.
And so they're a good challenge for us because it gives us a real indication of how well are we playing. They are a good squad. Same way with playing Lowell. Lowell is right now a 4A school. I don't know if they're going to drop to a 3A or stay at a 4A, but that's another example of that's a close enough school that we probably should play them. And so then picking up like a Hamilton Heights like we did at the end of the season, well, those are flyers. Let's see what happens.
Right.
And so I don't know. We've had a couple different teams that have come and gone over the years, but it's been almost the same schedule since I've been a part of the
Still
squad.
participate in the Lafayette tournament then?
I think as long as they will let us. I think it's a good
tournament. You had to be
for us.
invited each year or no?
Well, I think it was a 2-year invite, and then they re-look at things and re-plan it out. And so I don't know that we're seen as one of the long-term members. There's other teams that have been there for 20-plus years.
So you won't know yet if you...
I don't know. I don't think that they run ideas through Mr. Hickman to make sure that it's in line with what he wants. But
well, the Bombers travel.
Yes, we do. I think we travel well. I think that we have done well in the tournament, and so I feel good about the tournament. I know that the last year we won our first one and then lost an overtime game and another one by 1 point. Those happen.
Right.
And then this year we won our first game, and then I think it was a 8 to 10 point game, 8 to 10 point game, and so those are competitive. That's the way it works, right. And so. I like being able to play in that tournament. I think it gives our boys a really quick taste of this is the competition level we have to play. And if you're not ready to go, that shows quick.
Before I let you go, JV Bombers, how are we doing?
The JV actually played very well on Saturday. They had an overtime game against Frontier and were able to pull it out. And so that was really important for them. Part of what happens in JV is anyone that's playing well gets more time on varsity, which cuts down what they're able to do. And I think that for them to get that win on Saturday was real important for them.
All right. Chad, thanks for coming over. I appreciate it. And we'll talk next week about the sectional draw.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Chad Pulver from the Rensselaer Central Bombers, back to wrap things up on the Coach's Cage Show on 3kgthecage.com right after this.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student-athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Midwest Contractor Services of Rensselaer, with over 15 years of experience, offers both insulation and gutter services for new construction and existing homes in Jasper, Newton, Lake, and Porter counties. You could save money and lower energy bills by adding more insulation to your house. New insulation project? Let Midwest Contractor Services offer you a custom insulation package that fits your needs. Leaves in your gutter? Let us give you a price on leaf protection products that really work and are affordable. Call Marty or Mark at Midwest Contractor Services today at 219-866-0755 and get an estimate for your project.
Every day you listen to the news, but how is that news affecting your financial world? Things like your retirement and your kids' college fund. You need someone who can help you work towards your goals. Someone to help you move forward in the times of change. Call Mindy Byer at Morgan Stanley. Mindy has 20 years of experience as a financial advisor, and she's right here in Northwest Indiana. To make an appointment with Mindy Byer, call 765-420-8433. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney LLC, member SIPC.
Anders Water Conditioning in downtown Rensselaer is here for all of your water supplies and softening needs. At Anders, we sell and rent water softeners, water coolers, and have all of your bottled water and salt needs too. Call Chuck to set up your consultation today. 219-866-7430. Anders Water Conditioning, family owned since 1991.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
All right, Bob Kurtz and Scotty Miller ready to wrap things up. A good night of conversation here. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank all the sponsors, Beth and the gang here at Arnie's, for always treating us very nicely. And Scotty, a smooth job of running the show here tonight. We have one final game on 3KG, thekage.com, and that's Friday night, our first trip over to North White. We will be live streaming for the first time there the Midwest Conference matchup between the West Central Trojans and the North White Vikings. So look forward to that. I think it's a 5 o'clock JV start, so we'll be on the air around 6:15 or so. That'll do it from here. For Scotty Miller, Bob Kurtz. So long, everybody.
The proceeding was a presentation of 3KG Community Broadcasting.